Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Thursday edition of Today in Sports Betting Part 1. Taking a look at the college ranks, couple games here involving the highest ranked teams. We're going to take a look at. How you doing, Scott? You all right?
Yeah, doing pretty well. Can't complain. I know yesterday was a pretty solid day on the card for me. NBA, college, all seemed to work out, so can't really complain. I know we disagreed about the Michigan-Minnesota game. Are you finally on board the Wolverine bandwagon or no?
Yeah, maybe. I'm probably more anti-Minnesota at this point, just thinking they were a flash in the pan there for about 3 games.
At home, they're pretty good. On the road, they're absolutely atrocious. So, yeah, but I said I like this Michigan team. I think they might be the best team in the Big Ten. I know that we're going to be talking about a team that people might argue is the best team in the Big Ten later on in the show, especially in probably the next minute. But overall, I really like this Michigan team, and I think Juwan Howard's a pretty good coach.
Here's all you need to know about Scott, ladies and gentlemen. I texted him yesterday. I said, "Are you watching this thing?" And he said, "You mean the Knicks comeback?"
I like to
So,
watch my bets, man.
so that's pretty much. If you want somebody that's focused, laser-like focus on sports and sports betting, ladies and gentlemen, you've come to the right place.
I was giving you brutal honesty. Said, are you watching this? I said, yeah, Austin Rivers going crazy in the fourth quarter. That was basically what I said.
I just shook my head and wept for the future of America. So,
I mean, when you have the Knicks money line ticket at around plus 270 and they're down double digits in the second quarter and they come all the way back to win by 12, yeah, I had my eyes glued to the TV, but probably different programming than what you had.
are you watching this comeback? You mean the Knicks? Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like,
All right, buddy.
you wish I was talking about the Knicks.
Oh man. All right, so let's take a look at these games. We're going to start in the Big Ten. As the best team in the Big Ten, the Iowa Hawkeyes heads out to College Park, take on the Maryland Terrapins. Maryland's 5.5-point favorite. 5.5-point home dogs to the Hawkeyes. Scott, this good Iowa team have the best team as the best player in the country on their squad, and but yet they have a problem. They can't play in Maryland. Luka Garza's never beat the Terrapins at home, and now we had to talk a little bit about it off the air that Maryland doesn't have their normal squad. They normally have a little better team than they have this year. They're just 6-5 on the season, and the public is siding with you as they've driven this number from about 4 up to 5.5. So a lot of Iowa money coming in. Scotty, is this just easy pickings, picking up those Hawkeyes and a little easy victory here?
I think that Iowa's going to win. I'm not going to go ahead and automatically pencil them in as some type of lock here. I know that Maryland has lost 3 of their last 4. They have not been playing good basketball. Iowa has won 3 of their last 4. Probably should have won each of their last 4, except for that choke job against Minnesota on the road about 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago. But overall, Iowa's just the better team. They're averaging 20 more points per game. They're averaging 8 more rebounds per game. Does Maryland have anybody on the interior that can stop Garza? No. Maybe last year if Smith was still there, but of course he ended up going pro. This Maryland team has a couple of guards who are talented. Ayala's one of them. They also have Morcell, who's pretty good. I would wait to see the status of Connor McCaffrey, who is questionable for this game with an ankle injury. McCaffrey is a pretty solid guard for Iowa, pretty good three-point shooter. I know they still have Bohannon, they still have some other options, but McCaffrey is still a good depth piece for that team. Is it going to make a big difference? No, because he's only averaging 3 points per game, but he's also playing 22 minutes a game. So he's still a decent, at least rotational player. But you have Garza, who's, of course, going to win Player of the Year, averaging 27.5 points and 9.1 rebounds per game. You still have Wieskamp, you have Frederick, Bohannon, so many weapons there. I think they'll win the game. However, I do think it is a little bit concerning that even though Iowa's looked like the much better team, the spread only opened up at -4. I find that pretty fascinating. I think you'll agree with that because these two teams seem to be on different stratospheres at this point so far this season, where Iowa's looked like a potential, I don't want to say a dark horse candidate to win the title because I don't think they're good enough to win the title, but a potential Elite Eight team. And Maryland looks like they're going to be playing in the NIT. So there's a clear talent disparity here, but yet the spread, even though it's been bet up, is still around 5.5. I think Maryland can potentially sneak into a cover here. So I'm not going to play the side of the total. I'm going to lean to Iowa. I think they'll win the game. But I don't know. Something about the spread, I feel like, especially with how Big Ten teams have played on the road this season, it's just they've been awful on the highway this season. So I'm not exactly running to the window to take Iowa.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's more of a stylistic matchup problem with the with the Terrapins as they play that
Play slow style that's going to
yeah,
force Iowa to play in the half court.
Grind you to death, play that half court game. I'm with you. You look at this game initially, you think Iowa by double digits, but you start to do a little bit of checking in and see what they've done in the past, and you see how they've played against that Terrapin style. It hasn't gone well. So yeah, I'm with you. I hate to do a show and open up with a game that neither one of us are going to make a pick on. So I mean that's kind of pointless. People turn in like, I wonder what these guys think. Well, they have no opinion on this game, but they talked about it for 10 minutes. So you know what? I'll take the Terps. I'll watch. I'll see how the line move goes. I think we might be able to pick up another half point on this. So yeah, I will. I'll play the trend, and I hate to fade this Iowa team because I am a big fan of this Iowa team. I think I like Luka Garza and I like McCaffrey. I think they've got some good pieces on that team that definitely could make some noise in the tournament. But for some reason, some teams just don't play well, and I think we may have a situation like that. So yeah, give me the Terps, and I'm gonna put your feet to the fire. Make a pick on something.
If I had to make a pick on something, I would take Iowa.
You do. There you go.
I would take Iowa if I had to make a pick at 5.5, but that's mostly just because of the fact that even though most Big Ten teams have been awful on the highway, and Iowa choked against Minnesota on the road, they did beat Rutgers on the road in their last game, and I think that's the most impressive road win by a Big Ten team all year. Rutgers at home is actually fantastic, and Iowa just went in there and won. So I'm really impressed by that performance. Maryland, I think that the home court matters a lot more with the fans present. I know that, of course, it hasn't made much of a difference for Big Ten teams so far this season because it seems like some Big Ten teams on the road have just been useless, and Minnesota's a prime example of that. But I think Iowa just has a lot more talent, and I am impressed by that Rutgers win over the weekend. So if I had to pick something, feet to the fire, I take Iowa minus 5.5.
All right, there you go. Nice job, buddy. Glad we could drag that out of you.
Yep.
All right, moving on to the other game, and I think it's not a game either one of us are excited about, but we need to talk about them because they are the number one team in the country. It's the Gonzaga Bulldogs as they host the BYU Fighting Mormons. No, the BYU Cougars, of course. Gonzaga minus 17 and 163.5 is the total.
Well, I've seen it bet down. It's around 162.5 now.
Well, I'm still looking at it at 163.5 on Bet Online. So
I'm just telling you what I see.
So there are better numbers available depending on, or there's different numbers available depending on how you want to bet it. So, what do you make? What do you make of that line move?
Well, I think that this line move is mostly based on the fact that even though Gonzaga's at home and Gonzaga's the best team in the country, this wasn't their original opponent. Gonzaga was supposed to play against Pacific in this game. Pacific ended up having some COVID issues, and BYU decided, tag team wrestling style, sub me in, let's see what I can do. So I think the main reason why money has come in on BYU is because of the fact that Gonzaga hasn't had a full amount of time to actually prepare for BYU, because BYU was a last-minute substitution. So that might be the main reason why they're expecting BYU to come in, maybe catch Gonzaga a little bit off guard, at least to keep it within 15. Do I think it's going to matter? Maybe not, because I think Gonzaga is just an absolute juggernaut, so I don't know if it really matters. But if you want to know the logic on why money has come in on BYU, it's because this BYU team is pretty good. This team can score. I don't think they can score in the same level as Gonzaga, but they can put up at least 80 points in any given game. And Gonzaga had less than ideal amount of time to prepare for them. I think that's the main reason why you've seen money coming on BYU. If I had to lean anywhere, I'm still leaning Gonzaga because it's Gonzaga. in the kennel, I'll take Gonzaga at home all the time. But I'm not going to play it on the side, though, just because of that uncertainty with the recent change in the matchup. I know money's coming on the under, and Gonzaga's played very good defense lately. I still like the over here. BYU in their last game, I know they won, but 87-79 against Weber State. If you're giving up 79 against Weber, Gonzaga might kill you. Like, would it shock you if Gonzaga goes for 95 here? Of course not, because it's Gonzaga.
If Gonzaga put up 95 against
98 against Virginia, I think they
or 98 against Virginia, yeah, that's putting 90 up against anybody wouldn't surprise me. Then
I don't want to get ahead of ourselves here because I know there's still a lot of season left to be played. There have been some props, I think, on William Hill in a couple of books if Gonzaga is going to go undefeated. I know it hasn't happened since Indiana with Bobby Knight about 40, 50 years ago.
77?
It could have been around there. I know it was in the 70s, so about 40 to something years ago. Do you think Gonzaga's actually got a shot? Because I think they actually do.
Yeah, well, because they play in such a terrible conference.
Correct. I know usually you have to worry about St. Mary's. They're having a bit of a down year. They're still going to make the tournament probably, but they haven't been as good as normal. BYU's pretty good, but of course when you're playing on the road, it's a different story. San Francisco has not been as good this year. I love this Gonzaga team. If I really wanted to look anywhere, I'd probably look to a Gonzaga team total. I know it's going to be high, but I really think if you like the over in this spot, you're pretty much just betting on Gonzaga to score 90+. So I would probably get a Gonzaga team total over here. You have a thought?
I'm trying to figure out what we have here. You have 82, 80, 81. So somewhere in the neighborhood of 90 for the team total.
Yeah. Should be about 90 to 73.
Well, that's that would put you at the spread.
So 90, I know that's high, but they just gave up 79 to Weber. Gonzaga is averaging 95.
Although there are, I mean, they gave up 62 to San Diego State. They gave up, 64 to Utah, 64 to Utah State, 68 to St. John. So I mean, they're not
awful defensively. I'm just saying that some of the teams you just mentioned there, St. John's not being included because St. John isn't very talented. San Diego State plays at a pretty slow pace. Utah plays at a pretty slow pace. Gonzaga ranks 7th. Gonzaga is just going to try to turn the game into a track meet, and I don't think BYU is going to say no.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, BYU they could definitely shoot the rock a little bit. They've put up some decent totals there. Gonzaga hasn't had a lot of like middling spreads like this. They've either been laying single digits or they've been laying 30+. The two times that they've laid between 10 and 20, they've had very good success against Auburn and against San Francisco there in conference play. I don't see any reason to quit these guys now. I'll take BYU. I mean, I'll take Gonzaga. I'll lay the wood here.
I'm just gonna look at the team total. Both teams rank within the top 103 in pace. I just think that this game's gonna turn into a track meet, and I think Gonzaga, with Kispert, with everybody that they have, I just think they're too talented. Suggs, all those guys, they're all just so talented.
Right.
Take Gonzaga with the team total over.
Yeah, that's like you said, that's basically the same play. Just given BYU, you're just giving BYU just a little bit more credit than I am, but
well, it's not a matter of BYU. It's a matter of the fact that Gonzaga hasn't. I just think that
if you're not taking them to cover the spread, then you're giving them some credit.
I'm giving BYU some credit, but it's not mostly based on BYU. It's based on the fact that BYU substituted for Gonzaga's originally scheduled opponent. So it's mostly just the spot there that I think Gonzaga, even though they should win the game and still do well offensively, I still have a little bit of concern when it comes to them facing off against a team they weren't supposed to be playing right now.
So are you saying that if Gonzaga puts up 90+, they're not going to cover?
I'm saying that it would not surprise me if this game turns into a shootout and BYU puts up somewhere in the realm of 75 to 80. It wouldn't surprise me.
Okay. All right, very good. Well, there you have it. They're two biggest games of the night. I would call these with involving the two biggest teams. So, yep. And you have our thoughts. Did you stay up late to watch the Boise State game last night, Scott?
I actually did. I had the 18 at the time on Bet Online. They were up, what were they, up 28 with like 5 to go, 25 with 3 to go. Boise's best player gets a technical foul up 25 with about 3 minutes to go. And then the bench unit comes in for Boise, and it turns into a huge sweat for the spread. Boise's bench unit, I don't think they scored in the last 2 minutes and 30 seconds of the game.
Yeah,
and you
terrible.
See the
terrible free
spread.
throw shooting and.
Yeah, they tried a lob. They butchered the lob. It was just bad.
I know that one off at 19.
I see the spread just slowly just dropping. Boise misses a wide open alley-oop dunk, and then Air Force has the ball with 20 to go. I'm like, all right, just put me out of my misery already. And the guy shoots a 3, hits the backboard. I'm like, hold the ball, let's go home, and they did. And they won by 19. So they covered. Not fun, but they did cover.
Yeah, I know, and I know a lot of people got juice there. So
yep.
Not good. All right, man. Well, that's our college show for today. As always, we want to know what you're playing. Put them in the comment section. Let us know what games you're on today.
The Gonzaga game, I'm just going to be observing, but that's just my thought.
You're not going to play You're not going to play either one of these.
Truth is, probably not.
Okay.
If I'm being honest, you put my feet to the fire for Iowa, but they've been awful in Maryland historically, and I'm not that interested. And Gonzaga, I do think they'll win and cover because I love this Gonzaga team, but no, not really. I'm kind of maybe an in-play.
All right, so let's give the folks a play, buddy, because we're basically talking about two games that neither one of us love a lot. I'll probably take a little sprinkle on Gonzaga, and I do have a play on that Iowa game on the premium side on the total. So. I know you got a play of the day, so don't give us another game that you like that you're keeping an eye on.
All right. So now this is actually putting me to the test here. Looking at the card here, I know that there's a lot of games to talk about. Mm-hmm. Maybe not any you're fully thrilled about, but for this one, I'm going to look at Washington State here, minus the 2. Excuse me, against California here. I know that some teams have been struggling on the road so far this season. I'm really just not a fan of this California team at all. This California team is pretty bad. There's really no other way to put it. And California, I should say, might be without their best player for this game. So I do think that California will struggle in the process. Washington State might not be a great basketball team, but they're very good defensively. And if you're looking at California, this team's offense starts and finishes with guard Matt Bradley, who's averaging 17.8 points per game, and he's shooting around 45% from the floor. So he's their best offensive player. He's doubtful with an ankle injury. I think that's a serious problem. Now, Washington State does have a little bit of COVID issue, which is concerning. But if you look at how the spread has gone, it's a lot of money coming in on Washington State. They open up at around +1 up to around -2.5 for the most part. You can still find 2s around. California, not their best player against an 8-1 team in the Pac-12, I don't think is a great spot for California. Looking at who might be out for Washington State, you have a couple of guys who aren't exactly big contributors, so I don't think it plays that much of a factor. But for the most part, I'm going to fade California without their best player. I'll take Washington State minus the 2.
There you go. All right. See, that didn't hurt.
You have any thoughts on that?
No, I don't. I haven't
conceptually fading a team that's below 500 without their best player against a team that's 8-1. I can't really say no to that proposition.
Yeah, your logic checks out. I think that's solid. So.
Yep.
All right, very good. All right, so that's our college show. Nice job, Scott.
You can give out a pick you have if you want.
What's that?
You can give out a pick you have if you want
one. Yeah, I've had a couple that I was kind of interested in. I think I like this Long Island team. I like this Long Island over St. Francis, PA, which is just a dreadful team so far. They can't score. They give up way too many points. Not in love with Long Island, but they've played just 2 games on the season. But I think there's some talent on that squad. I would Give me the right in game there. Give me Long Island minus a 2.5. Is that still at 2.5? By the way.
Yeah, it's still a 2.5. Do you think it's fascinating? Or I also see it at -2 on Bet Online actually.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I've got. Yeah.
Do you think it's fascinating how since I've lived in Long Island pretty much my entire life, I've never actually seen a shark? So why are they called the LAU Sharks? I don't really understand that one. But all right.
Yeah, someday we'll do it when COVID comes back and they cancel everything. We'll do a show about nicknames.
Okay, we should at some point because LAU Sharks, I can't relate. That's all I'm going to say.
Fair enough. All right, very good, guys. We appreciate you joining us today. As always, if you're looking for more information on these games or any other games, make sure you stop by. Check out winnersandwhiners.com, the preeminent site for all things sports betting. For myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at winnersandwhiners.com, we appreciate you stopping by. Wish you good luck on all your plays. Hope every one of those tickets in your pocket turns into cash money back at the window. We'll see you guys on the next show. We're going to break down a couple of NBA games, so stay tuned. Check out that episode of Today in Sports Betting. You guys have a great day. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.